Hey, what is up guys? Matt here from the Toasty Bros and I am back with another video. If you don't know already, I stream on Twitch every single morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time over at twitch.tv/toastybros. I do a morning energy live stream where I basically do PC hardware deal hunting with my viewers and also help them with their tech questions, whether it's a certain build they're trying to put together or whether they found a deal and if it's worth purchasing. Now when it comes to my live streaming setup, I have a 2-PC streaming setup using OBS NDI. I won't get into it in this video because it is kind of a complicated process, but if you hit the eye in the top right corner, you can dive into many of the videos that I've made covering OBS NDI and how it works. But in short today, what we're going to be doing is taking that streaming PC, which is currently in a Pure Base 600 from Be Quiet, which nothing wrong with the case from Be Quiet. It's a good case for what it is, but it doesn't have enough glam for me. I want my PC to stand out a little bit, and before I kind of just mistreated this streaming PC, which has pretty damn good specs featuring an i7-5820K and whatever graphics card's in it right now, because I kind of use it as a streaming PC and a benchmarking PC for used GPUs. But nonetheless, we're going to be upgrading it to make it look a lot prettier using the Mastercase H500 and the Master Air MA410M from Coolermaster. So how about we get right into it after a word from today's sponsor. As a creator, creating content is almost second nature. Once the idea hits my mind, I almost go into autopilot, doing scripting, recording, and editing until it's complete. However, getting it seen on the crowded space that is YouTube is a whole other challenge. With TubeBuddy though, you get access to a wide range of tools like tag optimizers and search ranking results to help you optimize your content to succeed on YouTube. Want to give it a shot? Click the link down below to learn more. Alright guys, so this is my current streaming PC that we're going to be upgrading, and you can tell it definitely needs some TLC. So this PC right here, while be it in a really good case, don't get me wrong, I love the Be Quiet Pure Base 600. It's super quiet, super silent. It doesn't have the wow factor that I'm looking for, and yeah, a streaming PC. I'm being kind of extra here. Coolermaster sent over the case. I really wanted to upgrade it, and it will probably look really nice, so we'll definitely be doing that. But let me run down some of the specs real quick of the system before we get into upgrading it. The innards are an i7-5820K, a 6-core 12-threaded processor with 16 gigs of RAM, and a 6950 graphics card. Now you're probably wondering why the low-end graphics card was such a X99 high-end system. Well, that is because a streaming PC doesn't really need that powerful of a GPU, to be honest, and the GPU would be much more valuable used in, well, a gaming PC that we sell on the channel or something of that nature. So the graphics card choice, while being not the prettiest, is functional, and I may or may not swap this out for a GTX 960. I am not 100% sure, but that's what we're going to go with for right now. And as far as this power supply goes, it's just an EVGA 550 watt cheap power supply, and you can tell the amount of dust in this thing. It kind of shames me that this thing is still around and kicking, and you know, it's a streaming PC, okay? Cut me a break. It's just used for coding, and I kind of just turn it on when I need it and turn off when I don't need it. So this thing is going to get cleaned up. It's going to look really nice in this new Coolermaster H500, which I'm very excited to try out, and I may or may not be adding an SSD from another company who is willing to help us out. So let's go ahead and transition into that time lapse, and then I'll be right back with the brief overview after the PC's all put together. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alright guys, before I continue and throw the rest of the build together, I want to give a big thank you to Western Digital for sending over a bunch of stuff for us to use in our builds. Mainly, we have a WD Blue 2TB hard drive, which we're going to be using in my stream PC build. It's going to be a great upgrade over that mechanical hard drive that's been in there because the boot times have been notoriously slow, and I've really just been too lazy to swap it out for an SSD. So 2 terabytes would be great for the boot drive, along with being able to put some games to benchmark on, along with also being able to keep some recordings from the streams when we do them. So special thanks to WD for this one, and stay tuned for a video from Jackson where he's going to be upgrading his laptop using this WD Black M.2 NVMe SSD. And we haven't found a perfect use case for it yet, but they also sent over a 4 terabyte WD Blue hard drive. Probably going to be using it for mass storage in a budget PC coming soon, but not really sure yet. But stay tuned for some videos on this, and special thanks again to Western Digital for sending over all this stuff to use in the build. Now, how about we transition back into that time lapse?
When I fall in love, and why do I cry every time when you express what is on your mind? The things you say and the things you do, all the other things is so hurtful too. The things you say and the things you do, all the other things is so hurtful too. In the heart of the other, in the soul of another, in the heart of the other, oh, in the heart of the other, in the soul of another. Why do I get so obsessed when I fall in love?
Alright guys, so as you can tell, this PC build is finished, and overall I am very happy with how it turned out, and I'm going to go ahead and break down some of the pros and cons of the Coolermaster cooler and the H500 case. Now the H500 case is really well built, and honestly, it brings a good name to the whole H series of high airflow cases. I love the two front 200mm fans that are RGB, and they really add a good look to this case, while also producing really good airflow. Trying to keep a system like this with an i7 5820K really cool down, especially with an air cooler, requires a lot of airflow, and this case does a great job at that. Now the RGB effects from the cooler and the case are really nice. Now I wasn't able to fully take advantage of all the RGB effects because my motherboard is an older X99 motherboard. It doesn't have an RGB header on board. I plugged everything up to power, got all things working, and I used the back controllers that you use for the RGB to have the front fans, which you'll see in the B-roll after I take it over there for final glam shots. I had the front panel just do a color cycle, and I have this set to the RGB spectrum modes, and I like the way it looks overall, and considering it's going to be underneath my desk and it just works as an encoding PC, I think it's a pretty badass encoding PC for what it is. But overall, cable management and everything with the H500 is really easy. It's a really well-built case, and it's what I come to expect from a Coolermaster case nowadays. And with all the hard drive slots and mounting on the back for SSDs, I am very impressed, and I really like the H500 for its airflow, and considering it's at $100, which is relatively good price for a case of this caliber, I think it's a good recommendation for you if you're looking for something that's not super high-end, around the $150 to almost $200 price range, but is a good mid-tower that offers really good airflow. Now, I really don't have many complaints about the cooler right here. It's mainly something that I messed up on because after reading the instructions, I realized that it does prompt you to install the cooler before installing the motherboard into the case, and it's the fact that you have to take the fans off to mount it on LGA 2011 V3, which is what I have right here. So I had to take the fans off. I installed the cooler, then realized, oh, I don't have a screwdriver that can fit in between this right here and to be able to, actually make it work. So I had to really finger tighten these screws down once I got down to the very bottom. But overall, this cooler looks really nice, and on the RGB mode, I really like the way it turned out. The one downside of this whole system has to be the graphics card, the 6950. It's an older GPU, I know that, and eventually when we don't have a GPU that we are going to be using in another system, sadly the 960 is being used in another system that's going to be sold on the channel very shortly, we can actually upgrade this thing with something that's not red and looks the way it does. That's kind of the way it's going to have to look for right now, and again, as a streaming and encoding PC, the 6950, it does its job, and eventually we'll get this thing upgraded. And if you're a GPU manufacturer out there and you want to send a graphic card over for a review, I'd be glad to upgrade this thing with it. And one last thing to note, I really do enjoy the tempered glass side panel. I have it off here right now because I want to focus the inside of the case and I don't want to have a reflection on the recording, but I do like the tempered glass side panel. I wish it had better unmounting mechanisms because it's literally just two screws on the top and then you pull it off. It's not the cleanest way of taking it off, and you get a lot of smudges on the tempered glass itself. Kind of annoying, but again, tempered glass is very finicky to work with, and I can overlook that in a case like this of its price range. And that about wraps this video up here, guys. At the end of me talking right here, I'm going to transition into some final B-roll of this PC with all the RGB lights and everything and having it plugged up to my streaming setup. If you want to see me live stream on this PC, be sure to follow me on Twitch down below, twitch.tv/ToastyBros. My Twitch merch just showed up randomly while I was doing this video, so I had to throw on the Twitch merch to promote our Twitch stream. So if you're interested in that, twitch.tv/ToastyBros every single morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And special thanks again to the companies who helped out, especially Coolermaster and Western Digital for sending over parts that are being used in this build. Thanks again, guys, for watching this video, and enjoy the B-roll. Peace out, guys.